The Deep Space Monitoring Station hummed with quiet intensity, its array of quantum sensors scanning the vast, dark expanse beyond human-controlled space. Commander Nora Reese stood perfectly still, her reflection ghosting against the holographic displays that filled the circular command center. Something was wrong, and she could feel it in the tension that gripped her shoulders. "Confirm the readings," she said, her voice cutting through the low-level ambient noise of the station. Her lead science officer, Dr. Marcus Takeda, adjusted his quantum resonance scanner, his fingers dancing across the holographic interface with practiced precision. "Anomaly is consistent," Marcus reported, his usually calm voice tinged with an edge of concern. "Quantum fluctuations are increasing at an exponential rate. This isn't natural drift, Commander. Something is moving through dimensional boundaries." The station's primary communication console flickered, and the face of Admiral Kira Rodriguez materialized, her expression a mixture of professional calm and underlying tension. "Commander Reese, we're receiving preliminary reports from deep space listening posts. Whatever this anomaly is, it's not following any known physical laws." Nora's mind raced. Humanity had encountered numerous alien civilizations in the past century, but none had prepared them for something that could fundamentally challenge their understanding of physics. The quantum sensors continued their relentless scanning, each pulse revealing more about the approaching something. Across the galaxy, on the crystalline homeworld of the Krylax Confederacy, lead diplomat Zoran studied similar readings with growing alarm. The Krylax were a species of advanced interdimensional navigators, their entire civilization built upon understanding the complex fabric of space-time. And yet, this anomaly defied even their most sophisticated understanding. "We must contact the humans," Zoran declared to the High Council, his translucent crystalline form pulsing with a rhythm that indicated deep concern. The Krylax had a complex relationship with humanity, respect mixed with a hint of wariness. Humans were unpredictable, their technological development, a chaotic explosion of innovation that seemed to break every established scientific principle. Back on the monitoring station, Dr. Takeda's console erupted in a cascade of warning signals. "Commander, the anomaly is generating quantum echoes that are interfering with our standard communication protocols. It's actively disrupting our ability to understand it." Nora's tactical training kicked in. "Prepare emergency quantum burst transmission to Earth Defense Headquarters. We need to alert every research facility, every strategic command center." The anomaly continued its silent approach, a growing tear in the fabric of reality that seemed to consume everything in its path. Star systems that had been mapped and explored for generations were simply disappearing. Not destroyed, not transformed, simply erased from existence. Admiral Rodriguez's transmission cut through again, her holographic image now showing multiple strategic displays. "We're mobilizing every research team, every experimental technology division. If this thing is what we think it is, conventional warfare won't even be a consideration." Dr. Takeda pulled up a three-dimensional representation of the anomaly. It wasn't a simple geometric shape or a standard energy signature. It was a complex, shifting pattern that seemed to laugh at human attempts to categorize or understand it. "It's adaptive," he muttered. "Each time we develop a scanning method, it alters its quantum signature." Zoran's transmission arrived moments later, translated instantly by the station's advanced linguistics processors. The Krylax diplomatic message was unusually direct. "The boundary breaches are accelerating. Your species and ours must collaborate, or we will both cease to exist." Commander Reese understood the unspoken message. This was beyond political maneuvering, beyond territorial disputes. This was about survival. "Prepare the experimental quantum communication array," she ordered. "If we can't understand this anomaly, we'll need to find a way to communicate with it." As the station's systems hummed to life, preparing for humanity's most critical communication attempt in history, the anomaly continued its silent, relentless approach, a threat that didn't care about species, technology, or survival. It simply was, and humanity was about to show the universe that simply being was never enough when human determination was involved. The experimental research facility on Europa's frozen surface looked like nothing more than a metallic bubble rising from the moon's desolate landscape. Inside, Dr. Elena Volkov stood before a holographic display that pulsed with impossible data streams, her fingers tracing quantum algorithms that defied conventional physics. "We're not just looking at an anomaly," she explained to Captain Derek Armstrong, her latest research partner. "We're looking at a complete breakdown of dimensional integrity." Derek studied the display, his pilot's intuition mixing with scientific curiosity. The experimental spacecraft behind him, the Horizon Breaker, represented humanity's most radical approach to space exploration. Its hull was a patchwork of technologies that should never have worked together. Quantum entanglement drives nestled alongside traditional fusion reactors, gravitational dampeners interfacing with mirror-linked navigation systems. "The Krylax transmission arrived an hour ago," Derek mentioned, pulling up a holographic communication log. Ambassador Exelnera's crystalline form had transmitted a series of complex mathematical equations that seemed to dance between dimensions. Professor Hikaru Tanaka entered the research chamber, his weathered hands holding a quantum resonance tablet. "The interdimensional mathematics from the Krylax are fascinating. They're not just sharing data, they're inviting collaborative problem-solving." Elena's eyes narrowed. The anomaly was more than just a spatial phenomenon. It was actively consuming reality, erasing entire star systems without destruction, simply removing them from existence. Traditional scientific understanding collapsed when trying to comprehend its nature. "Our previous attempts to scan it have failed," Elena explained, bringing up a series of failed research attempts. "Every time we develop a scanning method, the anomaly shifts its quantum signature. It's like it's actively preventing us from understanding it." Professor Tanaka adjusted his quantum resonance tablet. "The Krylax believe this is more than a natural phenomenon. Their deep space sensors suggest it's a form of dimensional predator, something that consumes reality itself." Derek's pilot instincts kicked in. If it's consuming reality, how do we fight something like that? The answer came from an unexpected source. A transmission from the Krylax research team suggested a radical approach: technological hybridization. By combining humans' chaotic, adaptive engineering with Krylax's precise interdimensional manipulation, they might create a technology capable of disrupting the anomaly. "It goes against everything we know about technological development," Elena muttered. "Pure energy systems, quantum manipulation, gravitational engineering. They're suggesting we throw all of that out and create something messy." The Horizon Breaker behind Derek seemed to embody that philosophy. Its design was a testament to human innovation, a spacecraft that looked like it had been assembled by a team of engineers who had simultaneously been given unlimited resources and zero oversight. Professor Tanaka brought up a holographic model of the proposed hybrid technology. "Look at how the systems interact. It's not about perfection, it's about adaptability. Each system compensates for the other's weaknesses." A quantum communication burst interrupted their discussion. Ambassador Exelnera's transmission showed increasing urgency. The anomaly was accelerating, consuming star systems at an exponential rate. Humanity and the Krylax had weeks, not months, to develop a counter-technology. "We'll need to push every technological boundary," Derek said, running his hand along the Horizon Breaker's hull. "Traditional approaches won't work. We need something that breaks every rule of engineering." Elena nodded, her fingers already dancing across quantum algorithm generators. "Humanity's greatest strength has always been our ability to adapt, to combine technologies in ways no one expects. The Krylax are precise. We're chaotic. And sometimes, chaos is exactly what you need to fight the impossible." The research facility hummed with a new energy. Humanity was about to show the universe that when faced with an impossible threat, they didn't just adapt, they rewrote the rules of adaptation itself. Outside, Europa's frozen landscape remained unchanged. But inside the research facility, The first glimpses of humanity's response to the dimensional threat were taking shape, a technology as unpredictable and determined as the species that created it. The experimental weapons research facility cut deep into the Martian bedrock, a testament to humanity's determination to survive. Lieutenant Aria Blackwood stood before a holographic display, her special operations tactical gear reflecting the harsh red light of the underground complex. The hybrid weapon prototype is ready for final testing, Dr. Rajesh Patel announced, his voice a mixture of excitement and nervous tension. Surrounding them, an array of experimental technologies hummed with potential, each system a radical departure from conventional military engineering. Commander Zara of the Krylax military delegation watched with a mix of professional curiosity and underlying concern. The weapon before them represented everything the Krylax had historically rejected, a chaotic fusion of technologies that defied their principles of elegant, pure design. Dr. Weizong, the facility's lead weapons systems designer, brought up a three-dimensional projection of the weapon. It was a nightmare of technological integration. Quantum energy conduits intertwined with gravitational manipulation systems, nuclear thermal cores nestled alongside exotic matter generators. Traditional weapons are useless against the anomaly, Wei explained, manipulating the holographic display. It doesn't just destroy, it erases. Conventional matter, energy weapons, even quantum-based attacks simply cease to exist when they encounter its boundary. Lieutenant Blackwood's tactical display showed the growing threat. Star systems were disappearing at an exponential rate, entire civilizations simply blinking out of existence. The anomaly moved with a purpose that defied understanding, consuming reality itself. Commander Zara's crystalline form pulsed with a rhythm that indicated deep concern. Our long-range sensors show the anomaly is accelerating. At current rates, it will reach populated space within months. Dr. Paddle brought up a series of failed test results. We've tried everything. Pure energy weapons, quantum disruption fields, gravitational manipulation. Nothing even slows it down. The hybrid weapon before them represented humanity's most desperate attempt yet. It combined technologies that should have been fundamentally incompatible, a nuclear thermal core providing raw energy, quantum entanglement systems creating instantaneous communication between weapon systems, gravitational manipulators that could theoretically bend spacetime itself. It's not about creating the perfect weapon, Lieutenant Blackwood said, her voice cutting through the tension. It's about creating a weapon that can adapt faster than the anomaly can change. Weizong nodded, bringing up a complex series of adaptive algorithm projections. Each system is designed to compensate for the other's weaknesses. If one fails, the others immediately reconfigure. It's less a weapon and more a living system of technological defense. Commander Zara's translation matrix conveyed a mix of admiration and concern. Your approach violates every principle of technological development my species has ever known. We pursue perfection. You pursue adaptation. Exactly, Dr. Petal replied. Perfection is static. Adaptation is survival. The first live test of the hybrid weapon began. Massive energy conduits spooled up. Quantum entanglement systems created impossible communication networks. Gravitational manipulators began to warp the very fabric of space around the weapon. A holographic representation of a scaled-down anomaly appeared. Previous weapons had simply vanished when they approached. But this hybrid system did something different. It began to push back. The weapon didn't just attack the anomaly. It began to communicate with it, to understand it. Layers of technology worked in concert. Nuclear thermal cores providing raw energy, quantum systems creating instantaneous adaptive responses, gravitational manipulators bending the very rules of engagement. For the first time, the anomaly hesitated. We're not just fighting, Lieutenant Blackwood whispered. We're learning its language. Outside the research facility, Mars continued its silent rotation. But inside, humanity was rewriting the rules of technological warfare, proving that when faced with the impossible, adaptation was the most powerful weapon of all. Commander Zara's final transmission that day captured the moment perfectly. Your chaos may be our salvation. The void between dimensions crackled with impossible energy. Admiral Jonathan Foster stood on the bridge of the quantum horizon, humanity's most advanced experimental vessel, watching as the anomaly approached its final confrontation point. Dr. Samantha Reynolds worked frantically at the quantum communication console, her fingers dancing across systems that merged human creativity with Krylax dimensional mathematics. "We're not just fighting," she muttered. "We're negotiating with something beyond our comprehension." Captain Miguel Santos guided the ship, if guided was even the right word. The quantum horizon was less a spacecraft and more a living technological organism. Its hull was a patchwork of systems that should have torn themselves apart, yet worked in perfect, chaotic harmony. Nuclear thermal cores nestled alongside quantum entanglement drives. Gravitational manipulators interfaced with mirror-linked adaptive systems. General Colrex of the Krylax Military High Command transmitted a final coordination message. Their entire civilization hung in the balance, billions of lives reduced to this moment of technological desperation. "The anomaly is approaching critical mass," Admiral Foster announced. The holographic displays showed a growing tear in reality, a wound in the fabric of existence that consumed everything it touched, not destroyed, not transformed, simply erased. Dr. Reynolds' quantum communication system began to decode something unprecedented. "It's not just consuming," she said, her voice a mixture of scientific excitement and pure terror. "It's searching, consuming entire realities like it's looking for something." The hybrid weapon developed in the Martian research facility was now integrated into every system of the quantum horizon. It wasn't a traditional weapon. It was a communication device, a defensive system, and a probe, all simultaneously. Captain Santos guided the ship with a neural interface that merged human intuition with adaptive technological systems. "We're going to let it approach," he said. "Not to fight, to understand." The anomaly was unlike anything humanity or the Krylax had ever encountered. It moved between dimensions, consuming entire realities with a purpose that defied conventional understanding. Star systems, civilizations, entire evolutionary paths, simply erased. As the quantum horizon moved closer, something extraordinary happened. The hybrid systems began to interact with the anomaly in ways no one predicted, not destruction, not resistance. Communication. Dr. Reynolds' quantum communication system decoded fragments of something. Not language, not thought, but a kind of existential signal that suggested purpose. "It's looking for something," she repeated. "Something lost. Something that doesn't exist in any single reality." The Krylax and human technologies worked in perfect, chaotic harmony. Where the Krylax brought precise dimensional mathematics, humans brought adaptive, almost desperate innovation. Systems that should have conflicted instead found strength in their differences. Admiral Foster's voice was calm. "We're not going to destroy it. We're going to understand it." The quantum horizon pushed forward, its hybrid systems creating a communication network that spanned dimensions. Nuclear thermal cores provided raw energy. Quantum entanglement systems created impossible communication pathways. Gravitational manipulators bent the very fabric of reality. For a moment, the anomaly stopped. And then something even more impossible happened. It began to change. Not retreat, not be destroyed, but transform. Dr. Reynolds' systems decoded a final transmission, not in words, but in a fundamental understanding that transcended language. The anomaly wasn't a threat. It was a messenger, something lost, something searching across realities. Humanity and the Krylax had just prevented the consumption of multiple realities, not through pure force, not through elegant design, but through the most human of qualities, the ability to adapt, to communicate, to understand. As the quantum horizon systems powered down, Admiral Foster looked at his crew. "We didn't just save ourselves," he said. "We just changed everything we know about existence." Outside, reality itself seemed to take a breath. And humanity had proven, once again, that when faced with the impossible, adaptation was the most powerful force in the universe.